We are Somalis, not black. There, I said it. Alright, everyone is keep asking, why don't Somalis want to identify as black? It's simple. The term black was never a word to begin with. Yeah. The term black, it didn't come from Africa. It came from America. Hello. Right? It was designed to separate slaves from Europeans. It was not designed to celebrate identity. It was to control it. Yeah. So when Somalis came to the West, we didn't suddenly become black. We were labeled. Alright? Imposed. And we embrace it. Chill like that. Chill like that. Sheesh. Somalis had identity before race. Alright? Our identity comes from our ancestors, not appearance. Yeah. Alright? Blackness is a Western category. Somalia is a civilization. Big difference. We're Somalis. Chill like that. Chill like that. What's your thoughts on this?
I don't care if I'm the first person to say this, but us Somalis are not.
And who cares that you are not black? We all know that most of these Somalis, they suffer from identity crisis. See, when somebody robs you of your culture, heritage, and norms, you get what we call identity crisis. When the Arabs came to us, East Africa, they introduced Arabic and Islam, and they robbed us clean of everything that we knew, our culture, our heritage, our norms, our names, name it, and they gave us Arabic. And now, most of these North Africans like Sudan and Somalis and Eritreans, they identify as Arabs. They confuse ethnicity for a race. Like your race is your black or brown. Your ethnicity is your Somali. But they say, no, we're not black, we are white. We are Arabs, we are this. If you sleep in a garage, you don't become a car. Just because you feel you speak Arabic and you whatever you feel like you're Arab, you're not Arab. You are black and you are African. And that's it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Global Views with Josh, your favorite corner of YouTube where we break down national chaos with a little clarity, a little courage, and yes, the right sprinkle of sarcasm. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode of America, the reality show we didn't ask for. Now, let's talk about Minnesota. More specifically, let's talk about the unexpected plot twist no one saw coming. Some Minnesota Somalis who once loudly insisted they were not black, now calling for support from black Americans as Trump ramps up deportations. Oh yes. So it seems like the universe just dropped off a FAFO moment with express shipping. So here we are watching a fascinating chapter in the Identity Olympics, where declaration or declaring you aren't part of a group suddenly becomes inconvenient. Now, because now when Trump administration starts rounding people up, suddenly the face shifts from I'm not black to black Americans, please stand with us. Wow. Life comes at you fast. But let's slow down and unpack the layers, because this situation isn't just irony for entertainment. It's a lesson in identity, community, and of course, political reality.
So Somalians are trying to drag black Americans into their fight. Check this out.
But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denaturalize and deport as many Somali Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is battered by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, black Americans from the South, Hmong.
That was a call for allyship, and they threw the race card out there. We're all black. What happened to I'm not black, I'm Somalian? And what happened to the call of allyship when y'all was scamming Minnesota out of hundreds of millions of dollars? They only pull out the race card when it's beneficial to them, because before this, they'll tell you, you're jealous because Somalians are driving Priuses. And there's no allyship when they taking advantage of all these government assistance programs. HUD, public housing, they're not going to let you in their building that they're in. And these are the same people that will tell you, if you black American Somalians will say, hey, my people came over here in planes and your people came over here in shackles and chains. Keep that same energy. I respect that. Since me and my peoples came over here in shackles and chains in a ship, I'm porting my ship right here. This is where I'm going to port my ship. Don't use black as a race card. Don't use black when it's beneficial. Keep that same energy. You not black, you Somalians. You not black, you Nigerians. Keep that same energy. Because when it's time to benefit off these government programs, like housing, all that stuff, they lock other people out. They don't care about nobody else but their own people. So why you yelling allyship now?
And now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at, I hear they ripped off Somalians. Ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care.
Trump is calling for the deportation for Somali people, and he is sending ICE into the Somali community. Black people, you might want to sit this one out. Even though you can look at the Somali people and see that they have black, brown skin, you cannot tell them that. They say they don't look like black people. The culture is different. They don't want anything to do with blackness and black culture. They do not fuck with black people, and they get mad if you call them black. And the sad part is, this is deeply rooted. They are taught this shit in the churches, in their communities. Just take a listen to how they talk about black people.
Most of the people that we meet, especially African Americans, they don't even know their fathers. They don't even know their fathers. It was all of them, or most of them, were the product of one night stand. One night stand. They will tell you, I don't know my father. Well, who named you? Whose name are you carrying? Well, my mother chose his name for me. And I don't know. Is that what we want for our ummah? No. كلهم أو معظمهم أبناء الزنا. أبناء الزنا. Why? Because man, he has to give up the seed. And because the marriage will limit them, they will go from one to another to a third.
Somalis are not black. Let me explain why. Looking at me right now, chat, am I black? I'm literally brown. I'm literally brown, bro. Think about it as well. Somalis are Arabs.
Are you guys black? Are Habesha people black? I would consider. Okay.
We are Somalis, not black. There, I said it.
Somalis are not black. There's a difference between African and black.
Somalia, which is barely a country, you know, they have no anything. They just run around killing each other. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage.
Now, I'm not saying all Somalis feel like this. And I'm not saying that what Trump is doing is right. All I'm saying is, I'ma just sit this one out. Do what y'all want. But let me know what you think in the comments.
Amigo, não tem problema, amigo, eu não tenho problema, amigo. Hold on, please, man. Sorry. Move back. Out the way, Willis, out the way. You're gonna get knocked down. Move.
I absolutely love the way Somalis are mocking the US and their racism. Also, they're mocking Zionism by saying that Minnesota was promised them 3,000 years ago. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Also, the conservatives would probably take this seriously. And I think they already did. I'm pretty sure I saw a post the other day that I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. And it said that the Somalis are invading Minnesota. And I'm like, what? I just skipped past it because I skip past things that are ridiculous, right? But now I get it. Like, they're posting videos saying things like that, or talking about how they were promised Minnesota. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Yeah, I guess fight fire with fire. Like, try and prove just how ridiculous Zionism sounds from an outside perspective. And I guess it's 12 o'clock.
Not to be nosy, but I saw this comment on one of my mutuals, Hawk's videos. And I had to interject because what the fuck are you talking about, bro? So for context, the video in question is talking about ICE targeting Somalis in Minnesota, right? And Hawk is saying essentially that ICE is now targeting black people. And broski Coco, what the fuck? Coco my shit, whatever. Anyway, this person is basically saying Somalians are not black people, right? Black is a label given to indigenous people of America. We are not the same at all. If you want to sit here and say that Somalians are not African American, you'd be 100% correct. They're not. But to sit there and say they're not black is incorrect because look at them. Black is not just something that refers to African Americans. It encompasses everyone within the diaspora. I'm Nigerian American. I'm black. If you're an African American, you're black. Somali American, black. Also, there's also the second part of your comment that is even more ridiculous and egregious. Black is a label given to the indigenous people of America. Do they know that? Do the Native Americans know that we're calling them black people now? Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? African Americans or black people are not indigenous to this country. White people aren't indigenous to this country. The only people indigenous to the North American continent are Native Americans. That's it. Those are the only people who are indigenous to these lands. If you are anything other than a Native American, you're not indigenous to this country. Not white people, not black people, not nobody. And it's that simple. I thought this was common knowledge. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hi, so I just really want to make this video from like a human space. This is something I've been really meaning to say, and I'm so glad that I can finally articulate it to you guys. So I'm Somali. I grew up in Minnetonka. I've been raised here my entire life. I am born here and I've lived here. I've studied here. I'm a pre-med. I do research, and that's usually the type of stuff I talk about on my page. But right now I feel like it's really important for me to say this. What I'm going to say is that I have been getting so many messages telling me to go back to your country, go back to your country. But the reality of the situation is the United States is the only country I've ever known my entire life. And the thing is, the great irony of it all is I'm not the ambassador of Somalia. I don't speak for Somali people. I'm not a spokesperson for this community. I'm just one young person trying to study, navigate life, and live like any other 20-something-year-old living here in this state. And so something that I feel like is going on is that there's a lot of immigrant people and first-gen, second-gen kids like me with this weight on our shoulders trying to explain everything going on in our communities, trying to defend our communities. But I'm really no different from any other 20-something-year-old trying to make it here in this state, in this country, in this world. And so I'm sharing this because I really feel like a lot of us are being treated this way and dealing with this quietly. But the reality is we aren't symbols. We aren't some type of ambassador. We are just human beings.
Yeah, I think that that's one perspective. But the other perspective is, you're just collateral damage from the bad decisions that was made, possibly from your family, depending on how they got here. Because we still have to ask the question, right? This young woman who, you have to love and respect the fact that they were able to articulate themselves and communicate clearly about what their plight is and what's happening over in the Somali community, which she's not necessarily saying anything that we don't already know, that people that are born here inside of the United States of America, especially ones that receive birthright citizenship, meaning that their parents may not necessarily be from here, and they may have come over here either illegally or temporary protective status, but it doesn't mean that it justify the fact that we are leveraging laws that were meant for American descendants of slaves, people that did not ask to be here, and them receiving birthright citizenship should not have been extended over into people that are just normally born in the United States of America, regardless of what their circumstances are. So while I acknowledge that we should make sure that we accommodate people that are legally here in the United States of America as citizens, you can't blame people that then speak loudly about the fact that we should be putting Americans first and the people that are here already, instead of advocating for and allocating our tax dollars for people that came over here illegally. I'm not really sure what her situation is as far as her parents and all of that. But if you go over to Minneapolis, it's crazy the fact that they've completely taken over the culture. And Minneapolis today is completely different than the Minneapolis that was here 20 and 30 years ago. I mean, when you're talking about tens and hundreds of thousands of people that have basically taken Somalia and leveraged, American capitalism and then came over here and then said that we want this to be like it was back home, but we're going to take your.
So Minnesota has one of the largest Somali population in the United States. A beautiful community with a rich culture, strong traditions, and deep resilience. But like any community, it's diverse in viewpoints, including complicated discussions around race. Over the years, there's been tension in some pockets between Somali immigrants and Black Americans. Misunderstandings, clashes over identity, stereotypes going both ways, and sometimes a belief among some Somali groups that Black American is a label they should distance themselves from. Of course, that doesn't represent all Somali Minnesotans, not even close, but it's a real conversation that's been happening for years. And now immigration sweep hits. Long-term residents are targeted, families panic, and suddenly the folks who insisted on drawing hard lines are now seeking solidarity from the very group they try to separate themselves from. There is a name for that. It's called FAFO energy. You find alternatives and you avoid solidarity. And eventually, you find out that when trouble comes knocking, the people you dismiss are the ones you need the most. Now, let's talk about the real issues. Let's cut through the irony for a second. The deportations happening right now aren't funny. They are not scammer. They are not entertainment. They are human beings being torn from communities, families getting disrupted, and long-term residents who have built full lives in America suddenly being treated like disposable paperwork. The Trump administration's immigration crackdown isn't targeting behavior, it's targeting categories. And once the machine starts rolling, nobody is exempt because of how they self-identify. You can call yourself Black, Brown, East African, Caribbean, African American, Martian. If the state decides you're on the list, identity debates are not going to save you. Which brings us to the bigger point. Solidarity is not optional. Solidarity is survival. What we're seeing in Minnesota is what happens when people underestimate how deeply systems of power operate. Thinking that can't happen to me is one of the oldest mistakes in political history. Communities often don't realize that building alliance before the storm hits is what prevents the storm from sweeping everyone away. And here's where the story flips. Black Americans, despite centuries of oppression, have always been one of the strongest force for justice, civil rights, and fighting government overreach. It's not surprising that when another group faces injustice, they instinctively turn to Black Americans. Because historically, Black Americans have been there, fought it, survived it, and organized against it. But what is surprising is how fast we are not Black turned into Black Americans help us. That whiplash needs a seatbelt. So here's the takeaway. This moment is bigger than Minnesota. It's bigger than Somali identity debate. It's bigger than Trump's policies. It's about the dangers of distance. The idea that separating yourself from another oppressed group somehow protects you. Spoiler alert, it does not. The system doesn't care about anyone else or anyone's personal racial theories. It cares about power and control. And if marginalized communities do not build bridges, do not unite, do not understand each other's struggles, moments like this will keep repeating. The groups who once avoided association will keep finding themselves knocking on doors they once ignored. Solidarity isn't about who you think you are. It's about recognizing that the only way to survive on just system is to support each other before you desperately need each other. So here we are, Minnesota's newest reality episode. When identity politics meets federal enforcement, the plot twists no one asked for. But maybe, just maybe, this situation will speak honest conversations, to people's minds and spark up conversations, deeper unity, and some overdue bridge building. Because at the end of the day, the lesson stays the same. You can try to stand alone, but when the storm comes, you wish you had a whole community beside you. So, do you think this situation will push Somali and Black American communities to build stronger alliance? Should solidarity be automatic, or does it require accountability for past divisions? And what does this mean, or this moment? What does this moment teach us about identity politics in America? So, drop your thoughts below in the comment section. I'm ready for the debate. And thanks for watching Global Views with Josh, where we turn chaos into clarity. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video. Until then, credit belongs to original creators.